Thank you very much. The next question, the member for Kiiwetinoong.
Mr. Speaker, my question is to the Premier. The Skandinaga First Nation has been under boil water advisory since February 1, 1995. That's over 20 years, Mr. Speaker. There are 13 First Nation communities with boil water advisories in my riding as of today. On Monday, the Minister of Indigenous Affairs said on my Twitter statement that the issue of beer bill versus access to clean water issue was unfortunate comment. Mr. Speaker, it's these kind of comments that are very unfortunate. I vow to continue to advocate for the people in Kiiwetinoong. Will the Premier direct his minister to apologize for his unfortunate comment to the people of Kiiwetinoong who do not have safe drinking water? Miigwech.
A look to the Deputy Premier. Referred to the Minister of the Environment, Conservation and Parks.
Mr. Speaker, through you to the member. Mr. Speaker, the Honourable Minister of Indigenous Affairs, Mining, Energy and Northern Resources has a deep and abiding understanding of the issues both of the North and of Indigenous peoples. His own background, as the member opposite knows, includes spending 7 years as a nurse, spending time in remote communities and remote Indigenous communities. Mr. Speaker, the issue of clean drinking water is a priority for this government, not just on reserve, but elsewhere. And Mr. Speaker, it is critical that we face it. But we face it, in reality, we face it with our federal partners. And that's why, Mr. Speaker, we have focused on working with the federal government, in addition to our government, in terms of meeting their responsibilities. And Mr. Speaker, the minister will continue to fight to make sure that we have clean drinking water, that we have safe conditions from a health and safety point of view on those reserves, and Mr. Speaker, that the federal government meets their obligations.
Yes. Thank you. Supplementary question.
Thank you, Speaker. It's not the same when you work there versus living there. In February 2019, I visited Skandinaga. I was told that 16-year-old Cora Adlukan had died by suicide days before. It is unfortunate that she lived her whole life with no access to clean drinking water other than bottled water. Young people in the Skandinaga do not trust safe drinking water when they go to places with clean running water. They continue to buy bottled water. We live in one of the wealthiest regions in the world, and unfortunately, 13 communities in the Kiiwetinoong cannot drink the water. Access to clean water is a human right. Currently, my private member's bill on UNDRIP is before the committee, but being stalled from third reading by this government. Given the minister's comments, is he saying the government is not interested in upholding the human rights of Indigenous people? Yes or no?
Minister to reply.
Mr. Speaker, let me assure the member that this government and the Minister of Indigenous Affairs deeply share the concerns that the member has raised, and we appreciate the compassion with which he approaches this issue. Mr. Speaker, this government is committed to ensuring clean and safe drinking water, but again, Mr. Speaker, this is something we must work with our federal partners, work with the communities affected, and Mr. Speaker, we will continue to report to this House progress on that issue. Thank you.